Hare Krishna. Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Thank you all for joining the class. Today we'll have mainly the drama. Drama nothing but it's a group discussion among the classmates, among the college mates that I can say. So in this Mayank Prabhu and Pratima Mataji, Lavlina Mataji, and Sweta Mataji, and Sweta Mataji kids Anai and Ichita are also participating in this. So it's nothing but just to give an overview. So they are all classmates. They because of this COVID thing, they are not able to go out, and they are meeting online as a satsanga every week, and they are discussing about Bhagavad Gita. Some of the people are attending, so they are discussing about Bhagavad Gita, and chapter 1 has been completed. So they want to summarize mainly for all of us. So they are doing this kind of discussion part of it. So let's start that activity. And after this, so Lal Prabhu will give some conclusion about this chapter 1. So what has been discussed, and for about 15-20 minutes, and then we can conclude. From next week onwards, second chapter will be continuing. Rupilas Prabhu will take the second chapter on that. So let's start the drama part of it. So I think all of you are excited about it. So Mataji, are you ready? Mayank Prabhu?
Yes, Prabhu.
Okay.
Let's start action.
Thank you all for attending today's satsang call. It's a great pleasure that we all are getting a chance to meet like this after our college days. In today's call, we have Shweta and her kids, Pratima and Mayank. The topic for today's discussion is Chapter 1 of Bhagavad Gita.
What? Pratima joined the call today? What a surprise! Back in our college days. I never saw her go to temple even once. And she is here with us for satsang discussion today.
Don't get surprised, Shweta. I did not change. I am just attending the call today to see you all our classmates online. Anyways, I can't go to any movies in this pandemic time. I got bored, and so watching TV all day. So that's why I'm here today.
Okay, nice. Anyways, it's all mercy of Krishna. Who will start the discussion today?
Let me start the discussion. The first word in the Bhagavad Gita is Dhritarashtra. Is there any significance to that?
I don't understand why Dhritarashtra's name was not mentioned after that one time in the entire Bhagavad Gita. It was only mentioned once in the entire Bhagavad Gita.
What? Am I hearing that right? Bhagavad Gita is a discussion between Krishna and Arjuna. But why is Dhritarashtra's name playing a part here? It's really surprising to me. I never knew that.
Pratima, to know that you have to open the Bhagavad Gita book at least once in your lifetime.
Shweta, you did not change at all. You're still as you used to be in our college days. The reason I don't open the Bhagavad Gita book is because we don't have a Bhagavad Gita book at home. My father used to say, Krishna encourages fighting in that book. So keeping the book at home develops a fighting spirit among the family members, you see. To prevent that, we're maintaining the same tradition and not having a Bhagavad Gita book at home.
Oh, that is a very good point. We never heard of this logic, but I agree. Let's give our Bhagavad Gita books back to the temple.
No, that's not correct. Kids and Pratima, try to understand the background of the Bhagavad Gita. Kids, please answer this question. Who is Arjun? What is his Varnashrama?
Kshatriya and Grihastha.
Okay, so what is the main duty of a Kshatriya?
Fighting.
A little correction. Fighting to establish dharma. So Krishna advised Arjun to fight to establish dharma.
Very true. Actually, Krishna is sending us a message through the Bhagavad Gita. The fighting in the Bhagavad Gita is not just a fight happening in the war. It's actually a symbol for the challenges that we have to fight through every day. The message in the Bhagavad Gita will give enough strength to fight through our daily challenges.
Can I get an answer for my question of why Dhritarashtra's name is mentioned in the beginning?
The Kurushitra War happened for 18 days. After 10 days of war, when Bhishma had fallen, Dhritarashtra was inquiring Sanjaya, his secretary, about what's happening in the war since day one. Sanjaya was given Durdrashti by Vyasa Maharishi. Durdrashti is like watching a live telecast of something happening far away. In this way, Sanjaya could see the things that are happening in Kurukshetra while sitting in Hastinapur. Because Dhritarashtra was asking about the battle, he is mentioned in first shloka of Bhagavad Gita as Dhritarashtra Uvacha.
Another deeper meaning is that Dhritarashtra is blind, physically and spiritually. Similarly, we all are blind spiritually, especially in this Kali Yuga. So just like Dhritarashtra, we need this knowledge. That's why the Bhagavad Gita started with a blind person as a symbol, because the message was also meant for us.
Very good point, Mayank.
Next for discussion is that in the second and third shloka, it says that Duryodhana went to speak with Dronacharya, his guru, instead Bhishma, his grandfather. Is there a reason for that?
I think it's very simple. Dronacharya is his teacher. So the teacher can teach even in the war, right?
Not really, Pratima. War is not a time to learn. It is time to fight. If he had gone to Bhishma, Bhishma would have advised him not to fight. Bhishma would advise him to give the Pandavas the 5 villages they requested. Duryodhana knew this would happen and did not want to hear that advice at that time. That is why he went to Dronacharya instead of Bhishma.
Also, Duryodhana wanted to inform Dronacharya about who was in his army and the opposition's army. He wanted to inform Dronacharya about the Pandavas having more Marathis, who were soldiers with the reputation of killing thousands on their own. Most importantly, Duryodhana wanted to see if his guru is ready to fight the opposition's army, since most of them were also his students at one time.
Very true, Shweta. Here the key point is that the guru should not show any partiality while teaching. Dronacharya knows very well that he will be killed by Drishtadyumna, who is the son of Drupad. Even then, he taught Drishtadyumna the same knowledge that he taught others. That's what we should learn from these shlokas.
Next to discuss it about Krishna being Bhakt Vatsala. Can anyone explain in detail about this in connection with chapter 1?
I can explain. Krishna took a role of chariot driver for his great devotee Arjun. This shows how loving Krishna is to his devotees, and that is why they call him Bhakt Vatsala.
The main point here is that just like a pure devotee always think about serving God, God also always thinks of ways to serve his pure devotees. So he took a role of chariot driver here for his devotee Arjun. But my question to all is, why did Krishna take the role of a chariot driver when he could have relaxed in the Pandavas' tent during the day and advised them on war strategies in the evenings? why go through all that struggle to be a chariot driver?
Perhaps those days the cars were not invented, right? So Krishna was driving the chariot with the horses. What's so special about that?
Pratima, I think you didn't get it. When a friend is in trouble, we always go in person and try to help them. In the same way, Krishna was there in person to advise Arjun at every step during the war. But I have one question, Mayank. I heard that the Arjun's chariot is divine in nature. Is this correct?
Yes, that is correct, Shweta. Arjun received his chariot from Agnidev, god of fire. The story behind this is that one day there was a king who loved to perform fire sacrifices. He was offering ghee to Agnidev continuously for 12 years. Agnidev then began having issues with digesting all of this ghee and approached Brahma for advice. Brahma suggested Agnidev to consume the Khandava Prastha forest to help with his digestion. However, there was one problem with this. Takshaka, a snake, lived in this forest and he happens to be Indra's friend. So whenever Agnidev tried to consume the forest with fire, Indra protected Takshaka home by causing rainfall and extinguishing the fire. This continued to happen and Agnidev was not able to consume the forest. Finally, one day, Arjun arrived at the Khandava forest and helped Agnidev by covering the entire forest with a sheet made of arrows. In this way, the rainfall that Indra was sending over the forest was not able to penetrate through the sheet of arrows and allowed Agnidev to consume the forest. Because Arjun helped Agnidev, he was given this divine chariot which can move on land, in the sky, and in the water. This chariot will always be victorious.
What? Chariots can fly and swim too? There should be some limit for imagination also, Mayank.
Why is it so surprising, Pratima? Nowadays, we also have vehicles that travel in the water and that fly in the sky. Of course, all these are derived from our scriptures for sure.
I have a question. Why are there 5 horses that drive the chariot? Isn't one horse enough?
Ishita, I think since we have 5 fingers on both our hands, I think that's why the chariots have 5 to have good balance, I think.
No, Pradima. The 5 horses represent our 5 senses. If you look at the cover of the Bhagavad Gita book, you can see that Krishna is holding the reins to all of the horses. This is symbolic to how our mind control our 5 senses. The deeper meaning is that if all of our senses are focused on Krishna, he will control the mind and prevent it from wandering towards temporary, material, unwanted things. If we lead our life in this way, we are sure to obtain mukti.
Wow, very nicely said, Mayank. I have another question. For any activity that we do, there will be some way to predict victory or defeat. Can you all tell the signs that predict victory for Pandavas?
Is this like astrology to predict the results? Who is the astrologer on the Pandava side?
Oh, Pratima, this is not astrology. There are signs that were observed by everyone in the war which predicted victory of Pandavas.
Okay, let me start with the first sign. Krishna is called as Madhav. The meaning of Madhav is being the husband of the goddess of fortune. So wherever Krishna is there, the goddess of fortune is also present. Since Krishna was on the Pandava side, the goddess of fortune is also on their side. This is the first sign of victory for the Pandavas.
Very good, Shweta. Can anyone tell the second victory sign?
The location of the war is the second sign. The place is called Chariots. This is the second victory sign.
Oh, very nice, Anne. Kurukshetra, also called as Dharmkshetra. This means that whoever follows Dharma are sure to be victorious. We all know that Pandavas followed Dharma, so they are sure to obtain victory. Can you say the third sign of victory, Ishita?
The third sign is the chariot given to Arjuna by Agnidev.
Very true, Ishita. As explained by Mayank, going into war with the chariot given by Agni Dev will always be victorious. Can anyone mention the last sign of victory?
The last sign of victory is the Hanuman flag that is placed on the Pandavas' chariots. Back in time, when Ram was fighting against Ravan, Hanuman is known as providing victory for Ram. In the same way, in this Kurushitra war, the Pandavas used the Hanuman flag to be victorious.
Well said, Shweta. It's absolutely true.
I have another question. Dharmaraj is the oldest of the 5 Pandavas. But why did Krishna choose to teach Arjuna the Bhagavad Gita?
Very simple. Normally, elders have more knowledge, you see, so they don't need any advice. So that's why I think Krishna chose Arjuna.
Pratima, you have some answer for any question which has no meaning at all. I'm just kidding. Let's see what Mayank says.
If Krishna had spoken the Bhagavad Gita to Dharmaraj, we all would have thought that the Bhagavad Gita is for those who follow Dharma very strictly. Krishna also did not speak Bhagavad Gita to Bhima because he was always ready to fight the Kauravas and do his duty. For example, Bhima made a vow to kill Duryodhan and his 99 brothers.
Shweta, you're muted. You're still muted.
Also, our situation is like Arjun. We will have a lot of hurdles, problems, and tensions in our daily life. This Bhagavad Gita will really help us to take right path at the right time. By speaking the Bhagavad Gita to Arjun, Krishna makes it clear that anyone and everyone can hear the messages of the Bhagavad Gita and follow it.
Great discussion. One question is that in one of Shlokas, Arjuna was described as Gudakesha. What does that mean?
One who conquers sleep is called Gudakesha. Arjun did not sleep at all during the war, which took place for 18 days.
What is the greatness in that? Every weekend, I don't sleep at all. I'll be watching movies after movies without any sleep. So, am I also a good Akesha?
Not really, Pratima. The internal meaning of Gudakesha is that one should think about God even while sleeping and should never leave God at any moment by doing service to Him 24/7.
Okay, nice. I have another question since we are talking about chapter 1. What is the main essence of Bhagavad Gita chapter 1? What can we learn from it?
Anai, why are you in such a hurry right now at this age to learn about the Bhagavad Gita? You still have a long way to go. It's not even necessary for my age group. Bhagavad Gita is a retirement program. Just relax and go have fun. Go play.
Oh, Pratima, please don't discourage the kids.
Pratima, the Bhagavad Gita is not a retirement program. You should start learning it at very young age. Okay, I have a question for you. At what age did you start studying engineering?
Is that even a question, Shweta? We both started at the age of 19.
No, you started learning engineering from LKG onwards when learning the ABCDs. Unless you know ABCDs, how can you learn engineering? That means you started your engineering education at the age of 5. In the similar way, you should start learning the Bhagavad Gita at early age, not after retirement.
Let's answer Anay's question. In one sentence, the essence of first chapter is defining the problem. Before starting any task or a project, first of all, the problem has to be defined. That's what has been defined by Arjun in first chapter. Krishna answers the problems in the rest of the chapters.
What were the problems that Arjuna defined?
There are 5 doubts that Arjuna raised. Let me tell the first one. Compassion. Arjuna felt compassion by seeing Kaurva army and did not want to fight. He was showing compassion to his brothers, relatives, and friends and did not want to kill them, even though they caused Arjuna a lot of suffering.
Let me tell the second doubt, enjoyment. If I kill all Kauravas, there will no one be to see my victory. To whom can I show my wealth and my achievements? With that, what I'm going to enjoy? This is what Arjun was thinking.
The third one is sinful reactions. Arjuna was asking, is it not a sin to kill all these people?
The fourth one is destruction of family traditions. Arjun was thinking, if all the elders and men are killed in the battlefield, there may not be anyone left to give advice and guide to youngsters and children. So this may cause destruction of family traditions.
The fifth one is indecision. Arjuna was not able to decide anything and surrendered to Krishna.
I think Arjuna's doubts were correct, and he should have probably stopped fighting, right?
No. See, to understand this clearly, let's talk about the aggressors. There are 6 characteristics the aggressors will have. Poison giver, one who sets fire to the house, one who attacks with deadly weapons, one who plunders riches, one who occupies others' land, and one who kidnaps others' wife. Duryodhan and his brothers did all of these 6 things. So Arjun does not need to show compassion on them. If Arjun doesn't kill them and they do more harm to the society, there will be no sinful reaction by killing them since they are the aggressors. If they are alive, their family traditions will go anyway.
Krishna clearly explains this in the next chapters of Bhagavad Gita to clarify Arjun's doubts.
All this sounds very interesting. I have one question. What is there in the rest of the chapters of Bhagavad Gita?
Well, Krishna is going to answer all the doubts raised by Arjun in the rest of the Bhagavad Gita, starting from chapter 2. Chapter 1 is focused on defining the problem, and from chapter 2 onwards, the solution to the problem is given.
Slowly, I'm also becoming more spiritual with all your association. No. Let me correct myself. Now I'm a spiritualized person. Good joke for the day.
Yes, that is 100% true. It is not a joke, Pratima. You already have some inclination towards spirituality. You may not realize this because your intelligence is being covered by Maya, just like dust on the mirror. If you attend this satsang regularly, the Maya will go away and you will be in the real world.
Yes, I will join regularly. You guys have learned so much, especially Anay and Ishita. This was such a nice revision of the first chapter of Bhagavad Gita. You know what? I will join the classes and attend it weekly with you all.
Very good decision, Pratima. It's all Krishna's arrangement.
Thank you all for satsang today. We'll see you all next week.
Hare
Hare
Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna,
Hare
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 Rama, Hare Rama,
Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna. Thank you. Very good job, all of you, especially Anay and Ichita. Everyone has done very good job. And Lal Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna Prabhu. So now we can take over. So chapter 1, in our limited knowledge, we try to summarize. Handing over to you.
I'm not sure what I'm going to speak because your group have really done a great job of covering the entire chapter 1. There's nothing left for me to say. But it was really good, very well done. I think all the main points of chapter 1 has been very nicely taken into a discussion dialogue format, and all your team members have done a great job involved into the dialogues and the character. I'll touch base on what they said in their dialogues, just to elaborate a little more on adding more values and points to what they just said. That's what I'm going to do for next few minutes. So we ended at 8 o'clock, right?
Yes, Prabhu.
Gita dhyana silasya pranayama parasya cha naiva shantihi papani purva janma kritani cha mala nirmoshanam pumsam jalasnane dhine dhine sakrit gitamrita snanam samsara malanasanam gīsāsu gīta kartavya kimmanya shastra vistraihi yasvayam padmanabhasya mukamadmat vinishritha. It is said, Gha, the term Gha, there are 4 important Ghas are there. Gayatri, Gita, Ganga, and Govinda. You see, all are starts with Ga. Even if we stick on to one of these Ga, we will get liberated from this samsara. It could be Gayatri, it could be Gita, that is Bhagavad Gita, or Ganga, Ganga Mata, or chanting the name of Govinda, Govinda Nama Sankirtanam. One thing is sufficient in the age of Kali Yuga to take us back to Godhead. This chapter 1 is entitled as Arjuna Vishada Yoga. Every chapter of Bhagavad Gita is suffixed with yoga, Sankhya Yoga, Karma Yoga, Jnana Yoga, Nishkama Karma Yoga, Dhyana Yoga, and every single chapter is called yoga. But the first chapter is named under Arjuna Vishada Yoga. Vishada means depression, sadness, morose, agony, all sort of negative terms. So the first thing we need to know is how come something which is negative can be a yoga. That's the first thing to know. For one to step on into the spirituality, one has to get some sort of a dissatisfaction into the material life. Unless until some sort of dissatisfaction comes, the spiritual journey doesn't begin. In Arjuna's situation, he was put into a situation where he was remorse, going through some sort of agony because he had an ambition in his life. His ambition was smashed completely in the battlefield. Not after the fight, even before the fight started, he came with a big ambition to take a revenge, to punish his people, to destroy the Kauravas. But then his ambition was smashed. He got into remorse situation. He was sad and depressed. That is a starting point in one's life to get connected. Yoga means to get connected. As a solution for his problem, he got connected to Krishna. Therefore, this chapter is entitled as Arjuna Vishada Yoga, where the spiritual journey began in one's life. Our life is meant to ask questions. Ko aham, katamidam, kimba katam marna janmani. In the Upanishad it is said, there are some important questions that we need to ask. Ko aham, who am I? Katamidam, how come this world exists? Kimva katam marna janmam, what is all this? Why I was born? Why I have to die? I see people are dying. So these enquiries are very, very important for oneself. And these are the answers that's going to give us benefit ultimately. If we don't have an answer by the end of our life, it's like you're putting money into the bank or putting your money into a market where there is no investment. Rather, the money that you put into the market, that money is going to go into depression. It's going to be lost. You don't want to invest somewhere where you know that money is going to go away, right? You want to invest your money in a place where you can get more returns. Every single day that we have to make sure we are investing towards spirituality. Otherwise, we are losing every single day, unfortunately. At the end, we gain nothing. Therefore, Arjuna Vishada Yoga is where Arjuna was going through the same situation, same condition. A great saint, Gita Sangraha, is written by Alavanda, Yamunacharya. He is the guru of Sripad Ramanujacharya. He gives this entire chapter 1 in one sloka. Just one sloka, he puts all the chapter in 2 lines. He says, Asthana Sneha Karunya Dharma Adharma Adi Yakulam Partha Prapanna Mutisya Shastra Vataranam Kritam. What he says is Asthana Sneha Karunya. The problem established in chapter 1 is where Arjuna was showing his compassion and friendship in a wrong place, wrong time, and to a wrong person. That became the problem of Arjuna. Compassion is good, having friendship is good. There's nothing wrong. But when do we have to apply the compassion and when do we have to apply the friendship is important. For example, a doctor in an operating theater, he goes and he has to cut open the chest of a person, ribs of the chest, so that he can do the bypass surgery. And suddenly he remembers that, oh, taking the knife and cutting the body is not right. It's going to hurt this person. Therefore, I should not be cutting this body, cutting the chest off. He drops his knives and walks away. That's exactly what is happening in Arjuna's situation. Doctor leaving the operation theater by not performing surgery. Arjuna being a Kshatriya, walking away from the battlefield, there's no difference. It's the same situation. How we will not accept the doctor getting out of the operation theater without performing the operation? Wrong. Likewise, Arjuna not fighting for the right cause is equally wrong. Therefore, he's showing compassion, he's showing his friendship to the wrong person on a wrong time, right after blowing of the conch shell, which is not accepted. The entire Bhagavad Gita was heard by only 5 of them, right? First one is Krishna himself, who was a speaker, and the next one was Arjuna, who heard this one, and it was Sanjaya, and the fourth one was Dhritarashtra, who was inquiring from Sanjaya, and the fifth one was Vedavyas, who wrote everything as part of Mahabharata. An interesting comparison I want to say here is there is an outdoor Gita and there's an indoor Gita, right? What we have been studying is a combination of outdoor and indoor Gita. Now, the outdoor Gita is spoken outside on an open space that is called Kurukshetra. An indoor Gita is in a closed space between two people, a place within Hastinapura. The outdoor Gita is spoken by Krishna. Krishna as a chariot driver, he spoke Bhagavad Gita to Arjuna. Whereas in indoor Gita is Sanjaya, who is also a chariot driver by profession. He was a very excellent chariot driver, Sanjaya. So he was also speaking Bhagavad Gita to Dhritarashtra in an indoor Gita. But the difference is Krishna is not a professional chariot driver. Sanjaya is not a professional speaker. Krishna is a professional speaker and Sanjaya is a professional chariot driver. The important difference over here is in the outdoor, the listener, that is Arjuna, was blind. In the indoor, Dhritarashtra was also blind. In the both situation, Arjuna was blind, Dhritarashtra was also blind. Dhritarashtra was blind permanently, both physically and spiritually. Whereas in the outdoor, Arjuna was blind momentarily. He is not born blind. He was momentarily blind because he couldn't make a difference between what is dharma and what is adharma. What is papa and what is punya. He couldn't make any of these differences. One more time, Arjuna was blind momentarily because he couldn't make difference between what is dharma and what is adharma. He thought his duty is adharma and going away from the fight is dharma. He thought the people who are standing there are nice people. He thought when he kill them, he will become sinful person, papi. Therefore, he was momentarily blind. And these two blind people, that is Arjuna and Dhritarashtra, was handled by two people. One was Krishna, another one was Sanjaya. And the hearer was, Dhritarashtra was curious passenger in the chariot, and Arjuna was inquisitive passenger in the chariot. But the difference between the two charioteers is that Krishna, being a charioteer, was finally able to convince and cure the disease of blindness of Arjuna. Whereas Sanjaya, in the other hand, he was unable to cure the disease, the inner eyes, the spiritual blindness of Dhritarashtra. Over here, it is Partha Sarathi, that is Krishna. Over there, Sanjaya, who is a Raja Sarathi, a chariot driver of the king. Therefore, the Bhagavad Gita, if you see Bhagavad Gita, the first chapter actually doesn't end as we ended now. The first chapter goes until the second chapter, 11th sloka. We can conclude, we can consider the 11 slokas of second chapter of Bhagavad Gita as part of first chapter itself, because it's all combinations and problems, like Mayank Prabhu was saying, that it's all problem definition. All the problems has been mentioned over in these set of chapters. Therefore, Arjuna, after placing all his problems to Krishna, he said, Krishna, Govinda, I don't want to fight. I don't want to fight, Krishna. And Krishna says, you cannot get victory if you don't fight, Arjuna. You will not be a winner if you don't fight. And Arjuna says that I'm not interested in any victory. I don't want to win the battle. Well, if you do not get victory, then your name as Vijaya, Arjuna's another name is called Vijaya. Your name as Vijaya will have no value. And Arjuna said that, who cares about name, fame, prestige? I'm not interested in any of these things, Krishna. And Krishna says, if you don't win, then you will not get kingdom. Then you will lose. You will have nothing. Arjuna said, I don't want kingdom. I don't want anything. Well, if you don't have kingdom, then you cannot really enjoy the benefits of it. Arjuna said, I have no desire to any enjoyment, Krishna. I don't want to enjoy anything. Well, without any experiencing of any enjoyment, what is life then? What life is going to, what's the quality of your life going to be, Arjuna? And Arjuna said, I'm least bothered about my life. I don't want to live, Krishna. Asthana sneha karunya dharma adhikyakulam partam prapanna muddishya shastra vadanam kritam. Therefore, Arjuna showed his compassion, showed his love to the wrong person at the wrong time, inappropriate time. In this case, Arjuna has developed some sort of affection towards his enemy right after the blowing of the conch shell. And then he got confused, totally confused, not knowing about his duty. At the point of time, he surrendered to Krishna. Govinda, you are my shelter. You are the one who can help me and save me. And Krishna gave the beautiful Gita from 2nd chapter 12th sloka onwards to 18th chapter 66 sloka. Sarvadharmanu parityaja mamekam saranam vraja aham tvam sarva papebhya mokshayasyami ma suchaha. These set of slokas is so potent in everyone's life. If we read Bhagavad Gita, if we understand the deeper meaning of Bhagavad Gita, there is really nothing that we are missing in our life. We understand what's the purpose of our life, what's the goal of our life, what is that we need to do in our life to achieve the existence, the reason that why we are born. So we don't need to worry about, I haven't read this scripture, I haven't read Rig Vedas, I haven't read Samaveda, I have not read Keno Upanishad, Mundaka Upanishad, Isho Upanishad, Chandogya Upanishad. I don't worry about any of these things. Sarvo Upanishado Gavaha Dhokta Gopala Nandana Partha Vastu Sudhir Bhokta Duktam Gita Mritam Mahat. Bhagavad Gita is the essence of all the Upanishad. If we spend this one life just understanding Bhagavad Gita, that's sufficient enough. There's nothing we really have to master. We don't need to worry about anything else. Just Bhagavad Gita is sufficient enough for us to reach back, home back to Godhead. And chapter 1 is the foundation where the problem has been defined. So we all have problems in our life, whether we agree or we don't agree. We have problems in our life. So we all have to also deal the problems. So the pages of Bhagavad Gita spoken by Bhagavan Sri Krishna will certainly help us to solve the problems and make ourselves meaningful to ourselves and our family members, and ultimately make our life successful. With that said, thank you all very much. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna. Thank you, Prabhu. Thank you, Ram Prabhu.
Anyone have any questions or things we can take from what you covered on chapter 1? Are you all liking and enjoying these classes? Any volunteers can speak and give their feedback openly here. Any suggestions?
You have to unmute and talk. See if anybody wants. Veena Mataji is saying a very enlightening experience in the chat.
Wonderful. Anyone else? You can also say about area of improvement if there is anything.
So this is my first experience getting to read or passively read the Bhagavad Gita. I was very interested in learning about it, and I really appreciate the ISKCON team for putting this together in bite-sized pieces. It has been, I really enjoy the format in which this is being conducted, and I feel like it's really helpful to get it in this format where uh, Prabhuji will read the shloka and we have an English translation, and then there is a discussion about the shloka. So it's very helpful. I really enjoy it.
Very good. Thank you, Pratima.
So I want to thank Narayan Prabhu for putting the script together. He's definitely a very wonderful writer, good script writer, I would say, good director. So the good part about the script is that it had the whole essence of chapter 1 in a very simplified way. So that's the part I enjoyed it, and I think we can do this drama for every chapter, Prabhu, if it's not too much work.
Yes. For sure, we'll do that.
Yeah.
Anyway, for other languages also, we are doing it, Telugu and other languages. So that same thing we can continue in English also. So that gives the overall idea and overall picture about that one. And whoever is participating in the drama, they can get more benefit because they can they'll be practicing rehearsal and all those things, so they never forget about all the contents of about this Bhagavad Gita.
Yeah, Prabhu, that's a good way of convincing.
Yes.
That's true.
Yeah. And also, if it is live, like say in physical, we are present, we can have the action and all those things. It will be very lively. But with the existing circumstances, with our telephone, over this Zoom call, we are adjusting it. So it is nothing but a group discussion kind of thing. Hope by end of the second chapter we can have we can meet in person so that we can have a good way of representing our drama.
Okay,
Thank you, Narayan Prabhu, for giving us this opportunity. I think it was a very good summary for the chapter 1.
Thank you, Prabhu. And
yeah, the team did a great job, acting very well.
Yeah, Mayank Prabhu, Pratima, and Sweta, and the kids, especially Anay and Ichita.
I think you're given a right dialogues and character to right person. Their expressions and their like Laulina, she was more sober. The way he was talking, Fatima was aggressive, and Mayank was more matured, and the kids and Sweta was inquisitively asking certain things. It was a very nice combination.
Yeah, I really agree with Narayan Prabhu and Gopal Das Prabhu. And I think that this is a good opportunity for the kids because I was looking for a long time that I want them to learn few shlokas or to understand them. Even I tried to, but I was unable to help in that way. How you help them to understand and an opportunity for them to learn more and contribute down the line as they grow up.
Thank you for interesting us, kids.
Really enjoyed the opportunity. Thank you, Prabhuji, and encourage more participants to join for the next and enjoy the experience that we had. We wanted everybody else also to share it. It was really helpful.
Yeah, one request to all of you is just spread the word. There's nothing best you can help to give the knowledge to others. Just spread the word so we can share this to many people. Now that as everyone is mostly remote, it shouldn't be hard for people to spend an hour in a week to come in here and have some discussions, spiritual discussion. So please spread these words to others. We have many programs like this. With that said, Narayan Prabhu, thank you for giving me an opportunity to speak here. Thank you, Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Prabhu.
Thank you, Prabhu.
So from second chapter onwards, so Rupalas Prabhu will take care of. Rupalas Prabhu, you want to say something? He has taken the basic classes for all of you. Rupilas Prabhu, are you there?
Hare Krishna.
Yes, Prabhu, you have to show your
Hare Krishna, everyone. It was wonderful drama today. Thank you so much, Narayana Prabhu. And I was really happy that the script was going well. As Lal Gopal Prabhu said, appreciated everything. Perfect script and the playing. And yeah, I couldn't attend from the beginning, but I really enjoy it, and it is very well done. So thank you everybody for attending the Bhagavad Gita. Thank you so much, Prabhu, for so much your effort.
Yes.
I will continue from the next week. Hare Krishna.
Thank you. Hare Krishna. See you all next week.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Prabhu.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna.